Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all. I am Eileen Ellsworth, the President and CEO of the Community Foundation for Northern Virginia. Thank you so much for joining us today to hear more about the Community Foundation and ways we work with professional advisors like you across the region to help connect local philanthropic donors to the causes they care about. In the next half hour, Josiah Day, our Director of Development, and I are going to share some ideas of how we can help your clients realize their charitable goals. Feel free to ask any questions in the Q&A section of Zoom. We'll look forward to answering them at the end of the event. And if we run out of time, we'll be sure to personally follow up with you via email. All right, so let me tell you first a little bit about the mission of the Community Foundation. It is to grow philanthropy in the region, to respond to need, to seed innovation, and to lead and convene the community. And we have several strategies that we follow to help accomplish this mission. First, we work to develop donor-established funds, like, for example, donor-advised funds and scholarship funds. These funds reflect the philanthropy of the donors who established them. Second, we work to develop the Permanent Fund for Northern Virginia, which is a suite of permanent community endowments that donors help us establish for the Community Foundation's own discretionary grant making to help meet the most critical needs and interests of Northern Virginia. Third, we are community leaders that host conferences and other convenings that give us a chance together to discuss our region's greatest challenges and opportunities. And finally, through Insight Region, the Center for Community Research that the Community Foundation launched in 2020, we use research and data to enable more rigorous data-based conversations and more strategic action on that data. Josiah Day is now going to share a bit more with you about how we specifically work with professional advisors like yourselves and your clients, helping them to make meaningful charitable giving decisions that not only reflect their own values and goals, but that also help build a stronger, more resilient community in Northern Virginia. Josiah?
Thanks again for joining us here. So as Eileen prefaced, my name is Josiah and I'm the Director of Development here at the Community Foundation for Northern Virginia. And to start off, I just wanted to share a little bit more about how we work with our donors along with the charitable services that we offer here. And so as Eileen prefaced with the establishment of our Insight Region Community Research Center 2 years ago, our expertise is really in understanding the greatest needs that are present in our community, backed by data to connect donors to help respond in a very meaningful way. And so through our work and our over 40-year presence in the region, we engage with and are deeply connected to many of the nonprofits serving Northern Virginia. We can provide that heavy lifting and research that it takes to understand where charitable funds need to be allocated, aligning with the donor's intent and their passions. And so we also know that many of your clients and their families are hoping to establish a legacy of philanthropy from generation to generation. And we have worked with many advisors to establish funds through a charitable remainder trust or other charitable giving vehicle that continues far past a client's lifetime. And so over the over the past few years, we've also connected donors and their families to give a named gift to our Permanent Fund for Northern Virginia, which is an endowment that will forever benefit the ever-changing needs of our community for years to come. And so here's a concrete example of how one of our donors established a legacy of giving using a charitable vehicle by way of her professional advisor. So if you look at the case study here on the right side of your screen, you'll see that we have worked with client A who established a charitable remainder trust with the Community Foundation being the final beneficiary. And so this donor really cared about two major issues here in Northern Virginia, the environment and providing support for those with mental health challenges. And so upon her passing and the final disbursement of funds going to the Community Foundation, we were able to establish an endowed fund in her name as a component of our permanent fund, which was invested in the market with 5% forever being dispersed each year to impactful organizations in the community serving these fields. And so that 5% allowed us to preserve the principal and ensure the perpetual nature of the fund. And so in terms of meeting the financial goals of your clients, we provide the opportunity to maximize tax benefits to donors. We currently hold around 250 donor established funds in our portfolio, as Eileen mentioned, These range from traditional donor advised funds to scholarship funds to corporate advised funds and more. And so in a lot of these funds, um, all of these funds really, the donors and advisors have taken into account charitable bunching, which I'm sure you're familiar with, where a donor combines their giving into one contribution to establish a fund or give a larger gift, which has been a really helpful tool, especially with the increase to the standard deduction over the years. And so from there, a donor will receive one tax acknowledgement letter and can choose to disperse grants from the fund more thoughtfully and meaningfully over time, which also cuts down on a lot of their administrative work that it takes to track and plan giving. And as we discussed, the Community Foundation as a 501c3 can be the beneficiary of a CRUT, qualified charitable distribution, appreciated stock, or any other giving vehicle that will help a client avoid that taxable income. Donors and their advisors work with us to establish a fund pursuant to their charitable intent, and then they choose to be as involved as they would like in subsequent grant making. So in this example here with client B, a donor established a fund on behalf of their business to maximize tax benefits for the organization and its employees, while simultaneously generating their own corporate social responsibility wing through the foundation with very little administrative burden. And so if you'll look at the case study here, we see that client B owns a small consulting firm. And so to take advantage of the tax deductions, and because they're in this spot where they are looking to create a corporate social responsibility initiative without having to hire and take on an additional administrative burden, she established a corporate advised fund at the Community Foundation. And so from there, employees in the firm itself could give tax deductible contributions to the fund, and employees would meet on a regular basis to vote on where grants from the fund would be dispersed each year. And so from here, they were really able to maximize their tax benefits, provide mission-focused community investment, and then support their PR strategies all throughout the year by establishing a corporate advised fund. And at the end of the day, we want to talk about how the Community Foundation can help meet your goals as professional advisors, as trusted individuals in the region. At the end of the day, we know the reason that you're in this advisory position is because your clients have the utmost faith and trust in you. And so for that reason, we really provide the option for donors to select their own investment managers to invest their funds, so long as this establishing balance is above a certain threshold. And so that way, professional advisors can retain the investment while their clients receive the tax benefits and the option to tap into the Community Foundation's deep community knowledge and regional relationships. So unlike many of the larger DAF platforms, we have an excellent dedicated donor services team who donors have a direct line to if any questions arise. In the example here, we'll talk quickly about an investment manager that retains the investment for their client. So in the case study here, we'll see that client C has a recent liquidity event with the selling of his company. To leverage his tax benefits and to get his family further involved in local philanthropy, they decided to open a donor advised fund with the Community Foundation, with the financial planner who referred them retaining the investment. So from there, the Community Foundation becomes a client of the advisor, with the assets, in this case, it was appreciated stock, being internally transferred to the account that was now with the Community Foundation. And so once the stock is liquidated, the donor receives a tax deduction, and then the funds will be dispersed over time at their recommendation. And so here I just want to pause and let you know that the Community Foundation really is a charitable tool that you can equip yourselves with when presenting financial, charitable, and legacy options to your clients. That's really what we're here for. That's what we want. We want to help connect donors to the community and help them in this term to leverage philanthropy for their charitable and financial purposes. And your clients place a great deal of trust in you as their advisors, and rest assured that we are no different. Our emphasis is always to steward and take care and listen to our donors well, and really maximize their meaningful giving in the community. So thanks again for taking the time to learn a little bit more about the options that are available at the Community Foundation today. We're so grateful to each and every one of you, and thank you for your commitment to your clients and to this community. If you have any follow-up questions or would like to schedule a time to grab in-person or virtual coffee, feel free to send me an email or give me a call using the contact information under my woefully outdated headshot here. So if there are, so I'll just pause here. If there are any questions, please feel free to send them along in our Q&A box here at the bottom of your screen. We'd be happy to answer any questions. We wanted to make sure we kept this information short and sweet. I know you all are busy and have a lot going on, and want to make sure that you can get out there to enjoy lunch as well.
And let me just add a couple of additional thoughts, Josiah, in case this sparks any questions that some of our attendees may have. So you should really think of your local community foundation as like an extension of your own staff. We're like your charitable giving staff. So when you've got a donor that is charitably inclined and wants to set up a fund that manifests their philanthropy, we're here for you. We're here to help you do it. It's as if we're an extension of your own staff. And I also failed to give you an update on the growth of the community foundation, which is significant. We are at just under $97 million in managed assets. And that is net of tens of millions of dollars in grant making, if not $100 million at this point, over the history of the entire organization. In fact, in just the past 24 months, in just the past 2 fiscal years, the Community Foundation made $20 million in grants. So our asset base is at 97 million net of all of that grant making. So obviously it's growing very, very quickly at the moment. So I just wanted to share that with you because I think it's important that you feel that you are connecting your donors to an organization that is growing, that is sustainable, and that really has the legs to be here 100 years from now, 200 years from now, making a difference in the region. So I just thought I'd share that additional data point with you.
Thanks, Eileen. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have any questions here at the moment. And so I think, yeah, if anything does come up, like I mentioned, we have the contact information right below there. I just wanted to also add a quick thank you to everyone who's engaging with our Professional Advisors Network for Northern Virginia. It really is an opportunity for us to help you in your work, and we want to be a tool and a resource for that, like Eileen mentioned. And so if there are no questions that are coming through, we'll let you all go, add 15 minutes back to your day, and let you know that we're just so grateful for your time. And, we really do hope you have a great rest of your week, and thank you for your continued engagement. Thanks.
Thank you, everybody.